After Genshin Impact released Natlan region, we learned a lot of new things about Genshin lore, from the simplest thing to a more complicated one. And so far in Natlan's story, I think the biggest hit was Natlan Archon was once a human, and how we finally see Capitano in game. And talking about Capitano, there's some interesting topic that stuck in my head. But as usual, this is not a crack theory. It's just some dots connecting and discussion, or more like a speculation that based off of the things we saw in game. So feel free to agree or disagree. First of all, when we look carefully at Capitano's first appearance scene, or to be exact at the moment when he talked to Auroron, we notice something different.
Confess, I did not expect that little trick of yours to save the day.
Did you see it? During this scene, we could see somehow Hoyoverse put a detail that most people tend to ignore. They put a quotation mark on Capitano's name. And as we all know, sometimes quotation mark is used to imply that specific word has a slightly different meaning, or simply just to show a skepticism. But of course it could also use just to show someone alias. For example, Mark, the Godfather, or something like that. But to get a better understanding, let's take a look at this Clipse for now.
I've been waiting here far too long, but finally I have the chance to be alone with you. All the precious time I wasted has finally paid off.
Miss Farina, as the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed.
If Hoyoverse actually put a quotation mark just simply to describe Capitano's code name, then why the other Harbingers doesn't have that on their name? This difference itself kinda implied that this is indeed have a special meaning on it. And because of this, some people that I know assume that maybe Capitano that we saw in 5.0 Archon Quest is fake. Well, I know what you're thinking. You're not buying this, but let's keep it going for now. It is indeed hard to believe that Capitano we saw in game is a fake one, and it sounds nearly impossible if only we didn't get to see a similar event in the past. If you still remember, in the Archon Quest Interlude chapter, actually the first part, we got to learn about Hyv HIDES' story from 400 years ago. Long story short, in this story, we learned that there's one person that can actually take on completely different appearances. Yes, Dottore, or the Doctor. In this quest, we learned that he is posing as a mechanic from Fontaines named Asher. He managed to unalive Niwa and fool Tatarasuma's worker, even Scaramouche, which kinda say he is willing to fool people for his own sake, no matter what happened to the person he used. And also, this one might be a reach, but in the extract 3 page, we could see how it says the figure parted like mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach but not beyond sight. From this sentence, it kinda say Dottore used some kind of mist-related thing to be able to change his appearance. And from the scene when we see Capitano for the first time, we got to see this thing. Not sure if it's a mist or just simply a wind, but if it's really a mist, we know who's behind that thing. And back to the topic, we know Auroron is rumored to be affiliated with the Master of the Night Wind. And seems like he is helping Capitano for a reason. He might be agree on this because he is at least heard that Capitano is a true warrior that won't use other weaknesses for his sake based off of his previous lines. Yet at the end of Capitano's conversation with Auroron, he said how useful Auroron turned out to be for this mission. But later in 5.1 trailer, we heard that Auroron is being threatened.
This is a distress signal for the Masters of the Night Wind, so Auroron was indeed being threatened.
It's very interesting, but this brings another question though. But then again, if the captain that we saw in Natlan was indeed Dottore, what's his aim then? From Fontaines' Archon Quest, we can learn that Fatui is simply want the physical Gnosis, as Fontaines' Gnosis already lose its power since Nivelette already take it back. if taking the empty noses is their only goal, it might be easier for them to wait for Natlan's downfall, as the Archon will use all of its power, no? Then based on that, we roughly speculated that Fatui or Capitano or Dottore is also after the Sacred Flame, as it is only exists in Natlan. Saving the nation is also required to keep the fire burning. But what for? It's hard to say, but maybe this is connected to the scene where Dottore burned the Irminsul tree. On top of that, during the Q&A session in Fudan University, China, one of Genshin Impact developers said that this scene where Dottore burned the Irminsul tree is indeed part of future plan, or an event that will happen in the future. But still, we need to wait for future story to know the exact detail of Dottore or Capitano. There's actually a lot more dot connecting that we can do for this topic, but for now, what do you think about it? Is the captain we saw in 5.0 is fake or real? Let us know in the comment section. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.